my name is Udayan Dharmadhikari. I am a music producer, composer, and I also do sound engineering. But that is something that I have stayed away from as time has gone. So my main focus now is production and composer. And yeah, I think I came to TMT in 2016, like 1st of Jan 2016. That was my first day at TMT, and yeah, that's where the journey began. I did my engineering in electronics and telecommunication before that, and during my engineering, I figured that I wanted to do something with music in music. So that's how I found out about TMT, and yeah, then it's just been this journey which is still going on. And now I work with Sneha Khanwalkar, a composer named Sneha Khanwalkar. So I work with her and also with other composers and all. And now I'm starting to put out my own content as well. So that has been that. I was marginally always into music. Like I was not a proper musician, but there was always music around me, and I think I started teaching myself to play the keyboards when I was in like, fifth standard or something. So the music was always around, but I never got into it like full time. That happened only during engineering, and I had a year drop in engineering. So during that year drop, I had like an entire year in my hand, and I was like, what should I do? So I started learning guitars, and I taught myself to play guitars, and that's where the music ka kida actually like got ingrained. And yeah, then like a couple of battle of bands, formed a band in college, passed it out, and then I started composing like a few songs here and there just during college, like during the same time period. And I was like, yeah, I think this is something that I want to make a career out of. And that's how the journey began. So when I just finished my engineering, I was looking for places. It's actually funny. So I just randomly searched, ki, okay, how can I do something about engineering and music? So I found out about sound engineering. So I just randomly typed best sound engineer India, and I hit spacebar. And then a couple of names popped up, and I dropped each of them a message. Hi, I am this. I want to study sound engineering and music. What should I do? So this very respected sound engineer named Shantanu Hudlikar, who works with YRF, he replied to me after like a week, and he's like, Baba, no one is going to give you an internship just if you drop a message like this. You go to Mumbai. He listed out like a few institutes where I can study the course, and he was like, give it a shot. Do one of these courses there, and then you'll figure out. So TMT was one of those names, and there were other names also. And then I visited all of these facilities, and the way everything was working at TMT felt the most at home for me. Like the way everything was being taught there, even like my first visit there, I was not even a student at the place. I was just there to inquire about the place. Aman told me the structure of the course and everything, and he said to me that there's this engineer named Jignesh who's mixing an album at Nirvana Studios. Back then, Nirvana was affiliated with TNT. So he was like, why don't you go there and check that facility out as well? So I went there, and what ended up happening is I sat there with Jignesh for almost an hour, and I was asking him questions, and he was graciously answering them, teaching me about all the basic things. And I was a noob back then, like I didn't know shit. So I was asking him कि ये EQ क्या रहता है, compressor क्या रहता है, whatever, and he was very kind enough to explain it to me, even though he was in the middle of a session. And that's when I understood that this place has a very open education culture, where the sharing of knowledge is happening all the time. It's not like कि classroom में ही पढ़ोगे या फिर ऐसे ही होगा. From day one, even when I was not a student, I was part of the process there, and I think that drew me and that got me interested into DMT. I came in there, and most of the days it was like we had a theory session in the studio with Aman, or Aman Arak, who used to be back part of TMT, like teaching back then, or Lionel, or whoever was going to take the session. So we would have like a couple of hours of theory session, and they would show us on the in the studio system. On the studio system, they would show us about like what they are teaching us. So it was more like a theory plus practical session, and then throughout the day we would go on our own machines or go into the production room and like use the machines in the facility and just do the exercises, keep producing stuff, do whatever assignments have been assigned for the week or for the next week. So it was like almost every day there was theory and practical happening at the same time. And also whatever projects were being run at Flying Carpet Productions, Boon Castle, all of the students used to get assigned to those projects, and we had to go as assistant recording engineers or recording engineers. The first project was actually MTV Unplugged season 6, and I was a student back then. So I was just in about 11 months into my course, just about finishing it, and that was the first major project that I was a part of. And like I realized after going there, I was not there as a student, I was going there as a professional. So that was a huge difference just 11 months into the course, but it went amazing, and like I got to record all of my idols in the first project that I had. Then after that, I started focusing more on music production rather than sound engineering, and I ended up working on shows like The Stage, which is a reality singing contest, English reality singing contest. So me and a couple of other TMT batchmates, we were working together on that project. Then so The Stage happened, Dil Hai Hindustani 2 happened. Then a bunch of background music, like background scoring work with Troy Arif, the composer's Troy Arif. So I think I did a Punjabi film and one Hindi film with them as one of the background score producers. Then Jam 8 happened. So yeah, and I'm just fixing the timeline. So yeah, Jam 8 happened, and I was part of Jam 8 for almost a year and a half. So with Sneha Khanwalkar, there's like I think 2-3 films that we did the songs for, which will be coming out in the next year or two. Then we did the background music for this show called Kathmandu Connection. It just came out on Sony Live, I think like a couple of months ago. And yeah, and like it's been going on with Sneha for now, and I've been building out some projects with her. Before TMT, so the thing is ki my decision to come in the music industry began with TMT. Like I was never a musician for a long period of time, or I was not a music producer for a long period of time. So before TMT, I didn't know how the industry would be, how things work in the music environment. But the moment I landed in TMT, I met not just the mentors and Ashish sir and Aman and all these fantastic people, but the students who were there with me. Okay, so I met Gibson, Abhijit, and Roger. These were like my batchmates, and these are the first 3 people I met when I joined TMT. Gibson, Abhijit, Prashant, and all these other students at TMT, they would spend the entire nights in the studio just making songs. And during the day, they would attend the classes. During the afternoons and evenings, they would do the sessions, whichever the session was, the studio sessions, like jo bhi recording ho raha hai. And at night, they would just sit and make songs. And like I got to be around them, and I learned so much from them. Just randomly making tracks with Abhijit, Gibson, Prashant, Roger, Vedika, and all these people. It was like you were forced to step outside your comfort zone, and the things that you can create when you are out of that comfort zone is something different from what you would create normally. If I am left alone, the kind of songs that I'll make are completely different, and when I'm with these people, it's completely different. And similar things happened when some new students started coming in, and Salil was one of those students. He's a flautist. So, and he has a very quirky musicality, which is great, which is very rare to find. So, he came up to me one day with a phone recording of you know those people who keep singing those bhakti geet on the streets, Vasudev, we call them Vasudev. So he got a phone recording of that, and he had created some beat around it, which he presented as his TMT assignment. And after he passed out of TMT, we ended up like completely producing that track and arranging it completely, and it turned out to be the track which got me the work everywhere else. So like that collaboration, which was so out of the box, matlab, it was even the genres that we blended together, it was completely different for the kind of track it is. And yeah, I mean, the amount of fun that you have when you're stepping outside that comfort zone is something that I experience every day, even right now, because when I'm working with someone like Sneha Khanwalkar, the ideas that like not you but the other person will have, and when you input your ideas into it as well, it becomes something else. Right. The biggest advice that I could give is keep on producing, keep on making music every single day. Don't stop at it, and start releasing stuff. That is the next logical step. Matlab, now we are at a time where independent music has started to catch up, and this is something that I have not done much. I have not released my own indie content yet. But if I had to correct something from the past, that would be one thing where I would have released more tracks in the past. But now it's the perfect time to like just keep making music that you connect to, that you feel is right for you. Don't care about what the audience thinks, don't care about what anyone else thinks. Of course you have to take care that it is technically good, it is musically good, it sounds great, and that is why you are doing what you are doing. Like that is the whole point of being a music producer, is not just to make it musically good but make it sound good as well. And once you keep putting in that effort every single day, and you keep releasing stuff, and you keep making contacts with people, keep collaborating, and everything just takes care of itself.